Is ZywOo the greatest player in CSGO history? It's hard for me to say yes, because he's not, but here is why it's not so clear. Okay? Because even though you know Simple is the GOAT of CSGO, you don't know why. You think you're so smart, okay? You think this is an open and shut case. Well, let me tell you, it's never been more open. There are pages flapping in the wind right now. Nobody knows what's going on. ZywOo just got the Paris 2023 final CSGO Major MVP as the Zygote, the test tube baby of Counter-Strike, the man who was born on the day that Counter-Strike was released. You know what I mean? Like, that should be part of the argument for why he's the chosen one, why he is the GOAT of the game. ZywOo, top 1 2019, his first professional year as a CSGO player. Top 1 2020, his second professional year as a CSGO player on Team Vitality. 2021 and 2022, he got top 2 in the world. Since he has become a professional player, he has averaged top 1.5 player on Earth. Nobody's ever been top 1 in their rookie year. No one's done that. It's the best rookie year that anyone's ever had. And for Simple, if it wasn't for ZywOo, Simple would have been #1 player 5 years in a row. The bane of his existence. And unfortunately, the same can be said for ZywOo. It is so close when you compare their ratings in these years. In fact, every criteria for their stats, literally down to ADR. If Simple didn't exist, ZywOo would be clearly #1 for the last 4 years, meaning every single year he played since joining Team Vitality, he has been #1 in the world. 4 years in Tier 1, 4 years #1. Simple would have been 5 years in a row at #1. Okay, so that both puts into context how incredible on average ZywOo's career has been. Surviving turmoil, surviving rosters, moves, surviving being a brand new player in the Simple's career is much more like this, and then like this, and then like this. You know what I mean? And then like this. And then like a little bit like this right now. You know what I mean? And ZywOo's career is like this, and then it's like this. And right now it's like this. If that helps you visualize how good ZywOo is, how unbelievable he is. Okay, coldzera got back-to-back #1 player in the world, but he had a full professional year Tier 1 on HLTV before that. Then his first tournament won was actually MLG Columbus. Insane that he did that at a major. Crazy. Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable for sure. But yeah, ZywOo's now got a major. He's got a major MVP. When do we start talking? Well, okay, Simple has the strongest major MVP run in history, but the field wasn't that thick. The best team in the world outside of Na'Vi in 2021 was Vitality, who won the only tournament that year that wasn't won by Na'Vi, IEM Winter. In that year, he showed extreme dominance. That's great. In that year, he had the best tournament run in history, and he did that, and he didn't pick his opponents, and he didn't pick the field. But that's just to say that even though it's the most dominant major run in history, it does have that small caveat. The field wasn't that thick. You know, if we're talking about 2019, and it's like a year with Liquid, Astralis, at their strength, they didn't have that. There was no team like Fnatic. There was no team like Luminosity, SK, FaZe, Cloud9, 2018. There was nothing like that in 2021. It was really just Na'Vi, Vitality, everyone else. Like, it was really bad in 2021. But the same can be said. I'm just kind of devil's advocate back and forth here. ZywOo's run, very strong major performance run, of course, for the MVP here at the Blast Paris 2023 Major, but the quality of opponents was not there. So from one perspective, at the Blast Paris Major, Vitality did not drop a single map. Incredible. The only problem is Monty, Into the Breach, Apex, and Gamer Legion are the only teams that they beat in best of 3s. And then they beat G2 and they beat ENCE in best of 1s before that. Now again, just like for Simple, just like for Na'Vi, you only beat who's in front of you. You don't have a choice. So it's hard to be too critical of that. Also, Gamer Legion, we saw how good they were in this run. They literally took down Heroic to get to Vitality in the first place. They did some unbelievable stuff. Apex beat Liquid. You know, like, there are some reasons here why Vitality had these opponents to play against. They weren't pushovers. But this is just bringing both these guys down to a very similar level. Now, my one argument for Simple, the best one for me, first of all, is the amount of times and the fact that he's been averaging top 1 for 5 years. Then he has this major and his MVP and the best major run in history with maybe slightly better opponents. Then also, 2018 Simple is probably the best professional year of any player in history history, bar none. That was the most unbelievable top 3 between him, Device, and Nico. That was Simple doing unbelievable things, winning multiple MVPs without winning tournaments, having unreal tournament runs, being completely dominant, having total fear aura. That's the moment at which everybody knew he was the best. And at that moment, people already thought he's probably going to be the best in the history of the game. It wasn't an undeniable fact at the time, though, and we didn't know that ZywOo was about to show up. Now, Simple's played at way more majors, and because of that has shown, number 1, he's been great win or lose. But number 2, when it comes to major finals, 3 out of 4 major finals Simple has played in, played like booty, played like 2 ass cheeks clapping together in a very goofy sounding way. ZywOo has played in 1 major final, and he played unbelievably in that major final. Now, yeah, it was versus Gamer Legion, but again, it was Gamer Legion who, first of all, had the chance to get here because they beat Heroic. And we're talking about in the second half of Nuke, ZywOo went 21-4 with a 2.41 rating. So if we're talking about any kind of nerves, onus to do this for Vitality, everybody doubting the fact that he was going to show up in this part of the major, none of that. I think very clearly Simple is still the better player. I would say that this year, it feels like things are actually starting to change, but until this point, even when ZywOo got top 1, I would say definitely Simple was clearly still the better player. He was more impactful. I think there are many moments in these last few years with ZywOo where the criticism is true and correct that he could be doing more, even though he was doing the most, and he was not taking games into his own hands, regularly would disappear, but he would disappear in such like an elegant way that you wouldn't even notice, right? He wouldn't be dying and stupid. It wouldn't be bad sprays, but he just wouldn't get that many kills. He was sort of ghosting. Okay, that's one thing I'll say about ZywOo. He's had bad first 6 months to the year. He's whatever, okay? But that's ultimately why I'd say Simple is the GOAT and also the better player. Just think he's a better player. But until last year, and by a hair, a tiny little hair, like a follicle, ZywOo never even had a teammate in the top 20 in his 4 years playing professionally Team Vitality. Simple. We all talk about how many teams Simple has had to carry. Oh, it's been so bad for Simple. He's playing with Flame. He's playing with Zeus. He's playing with... Oh, no. Simple had Electronic in top 5 almost every single year. His right-hand man, the duo of all time. One of the best riflers ever. There was conversation that Electronic was better than Simple at some point. It sounds crazy now, but it was really... People were saying that at some point, that Electronic was the reason Na'Vi were holding it together when they couldn't figure out why they wouldn't lose, and then they went for the hipster underrated pick. Listen, Electronic is an excellent player, an excellent rifler, but he was never better than Simple, and we know now more than ever that, of course, that's true. ZywOo had Spinks barely crack top 20 this last year, and they won ESL Pro League, and that was like an amazing performance from Spinks, and it showed that now with ZywOo with a teammate, they can actually win tournaments. But outside of that, and that honeymoon, Spinks was almost totally absent again until leading into Rio. Outside of these last couple of months, ZywOo has never had a teammate even close to top 20. Dupree has been getting worse these last couple of years. Magisk has also been getting slightly worse, not as bad, but Dupree picked it up. Spinks picked it up like crazy, and hey, it's the Blast Paris Major. What more motivation could you need if you're Israeli or Danish? No, but to do it for Vitality, to help Apex, to help ZywOo, and of course all your fans who are French. They got a huge uptick off of that. But seriously, the argument for who has had a worse team, ZywOo wins that every day. ZywOo is an amazing player, and if it wasn't for Simple, the conversation for GOAT, I don't know how you could measure up somebody else's career to his in terms of average consistency, in terms of how much he's had to carry, in terms of iconic moments, in terms of fear aura, in terms of verbal agreement. Just if you ask anybody who's the best player right now, in terms of you've asked pros who's the best player right now, you can see it. The kid's obviously got it. I would just like to say, Simple is the GOAT of CSGO. How I see it, it's not quite as clear anymore, and that makes me feel a lot better about saying Simple is the GOAT. But I just like to throw something, stir the pot a little bit. You know what I mean? Get people talking. So what do you think? I'm actually curious. What are your arguments back and forth? Is there a GOAT that I'm missing? ZywOo, Simple, who? I don't know. Check out the Boxer store, store.boxer.gg. ASON, best CS2 headphones in the world. Do not miss out on getting a pair. We had a line longer than Charlie Sheen at the Blast Paris Major for the meetup. Thank you guys for coming to say hi to me. It was a pleasure. Cast a major final. KZ Boy casted a major final. Whoa. Thanks for everyone who was there from day one, okay? 10-year anniversary in September for this channel. Beautiful scenes here for launders, all right? It's doing good. Thank you to the Boxer community, KZ community, everybody who's been watching recently. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the support. And yeah, make sure to support ASON as well, because they're the reason I'm uploading all the time. Take it easy.